So, the hand stuttering technique, or I would call it a method because it's a much bigger thing than just a technique. That's the technique I use myself in my own therapy. That's the technique I'm preaching about in every single video of mine that we use inside the Improve program. And I just love this technique because I see every single day that it is really working. Every level of severity, like from severe to mild, it does work. So if you want to know what this hand stuttering technique is all about and how it's working, stay tuned. So the first thing I want to make very, very clear that in the stuttering iceberg that stuttering represents, actually, the top of it are the speech impediments and the huge body that other people don't see. Sometimes we ourselves don't quite realize that that body of the iceberg, which has the stuttering fear of stuttering, fear of speaking, desire to hide our stuttering, desire to avoidance behaviors. So all these that represent the body of that iceberg and the speech impediments that we do see that are on top of that iceberg. The hand stuttering technique aims both of these, and that actually makes it so powerful. So let's start with the top of the iceberg, the speech impediment, something that is very obvious for us, and we often see our stuttering as speech impediments, and we measure our speaking in terms of fluency or disfluency. We do want to target the speech impediments, of course, and yeah, what we usually do, we do the speech exercises, and that is absolutely awesome. Any speech exercises that develop the speaking mechanism, reading out loud, like easy onset. There are many speaking exercises, stuttering techniques. We can develop the diaphragm muscles to make our voice more powerful. Everything is perfect. Everything is awesome. But when it comes to the real life settings, real life situations, we pretty much, let's call it, forget about everything because there is no way to remember it. Our speaking works as an automated pattern. And stuttering is an automated pattern. It is a program that we're having. So this process of speaking is highly automated. And it's backed by the emotional background which we're having. When we face a speaking setting, this program launches automatically. So our stuttering becomes a state that penetrates our mind and body, and we start thinking about our life in terms of how to avoid speaking, how to hide our stuttering. So it becomes much more than just speech impediments. And again, it's working as an automated pattern. When we face a speaking setting, we already know that we will stutter. That line of code that I will stutter at some point is the core of that automated pattern, of that program that we're having. So how do we change that line of code which says that I will stutter at some point to another line of code which says that I'm able to say what I want to say without speech impediments in any circumstances? So how do we replace that? I want you to imagine our speaking as a fast river. So, and we want to get to the other side of the river. So once we face a speaking situation, we want to swim to the other side of the river. So we get to the water, but the river is so fast, it just flows us away and we never get to the other end as we want it. So exactly the same thing happens with our speaking. We're just flown away and we just feel helpless. Again, even if we had many speaking exercises, in this setting it's really hard to get conscious in this present moment and to really do all of that we've learned in the classroom. So what we are missing, actually, what our speaking is missing, is the inner structure, inner frame. And what actually the hand technique brings, first of all, it brings the inner structure, the frame. We use our hand to serve as a support for our speaking. So we learn how to relax, how to say something in a relaxing way. Okay, using our fingers, the fingers of our hand. Our thumb launches the phrase. As we launch it, once we launch it confidently, we can say the phrase confidently. So we learn how to relax. Then we learn how to put some power back. Book. Okay, then we learn how to be more like straightforward with that power. Book. Okay, so we go through some learning process about what we want to put on a foundation, what we want to support. Actually, we want to support a relaxing and powerful speaking. We want to feel the stresses, because all our speaking is going from a stress to another emphasizing stress. So that's like a drawing, like intonational picture that we're having, the expressive way of our speaking. Okay, so we with our fingers just feel those each of the syllable and feel where is the stress. And what we do basically, we restore the natural way of our speaking, the natural way of being expressive, because you choose where to put the stress. You choose how to put the stress. And again, the hand serves as a foundation for that. Now, if you want to learn more about the exact exercises, how we go from the first like sound to like several fingers to saying phrases, please go down below this video, see the link to the improved program, get inside, it's totally free. There are like step-by-step lessons with exercises. How do we actually learn that technique? So that's the technical part. We find the support with using our fingers. That's the eliminating the speech impediments part of this technique, of this method. Coming back to this analogy with the river, what we actually do with this hand stuttering technique, we don't swim the river. We're building a bridge over the river. And like building a bridge, we need, the building blocks, we need to put some work into constructing it. So it takes some time. It's not a one-day exercise. But as we've built that bridge and we feel that we can use our hand technique to say what we want to say, we feel very confident. We feel, again, just totally different about our speaking. We feel that we can say whatever we want to say in any setting. So we basically start to replace that line of code that we're having, that I will stutter at some point, with another one which I can come back to my powerful, expressive speaking whenever I want. Even if I have an impediment, I don't have any worry, I don't have any anxiety, don't have any negative feeling about it like regular people. Everyone has speech impediments from time to time, but regular, normal people, they don't notice that, they don't bother, because again, they have a different line of code in their speaking program that I'm fine, I can come back to my regular speaking anytime. So we replace that stuttering line of code to a new line of code, and it's all because we've restored the structure, the inner structure, the inner frame that we are missing right now. Our speaking is missing that inner structure, inner frame right now. And the cool thing about this hand stuttering technique is that it's not an external device, not an external app or software or trick that I'm kind of artificially use in my speaking to get through speech impediments. Again, you are restoring your natural way of speaking. You put the stresses, the emphasis, you draw your intonational picture of your speaking. And yeah, we're using this as a natural tool given us by nature, because part of the brain which is responsible for speaking is also responsible for motor activities, and speaking itself is, if you think about it just a bit, is a kind of motor activity as well. And again, the cool thing about this hand stuttering technique is that it's not an external thing, it's our internal tool. And once we build that inner structure that we need, actually, we don't need to use our hand anymore. So we don't need we can just replace it with regular gestures that, again, regular normal people use to be expressive, to be powerful. It's already there. The inner structure is already there. It takes some time, like with every pattern, with every automated pattern, it takes some time to build it, and we need to use our training speech using our hand for some time. In certain situations, we need to build a certain amount of positive speaking experiences so that they go into our muscle and emotional memory as well. But once it's there, it takes some time, but once it's there, we don't need to use our hand anymore. It's just there. And now I'm going to tell you how this hand stuttering technique affects the body of the stuttering iceberg. Remember, the top of it, speech impediments, and we've talked about it right now. We just affect the speech impediments, we eliminate them, we construct this inner structure of speaking, perfect. But we have the body of the stuttering iceberg that holds our stuttering fear of stuttering, fear of speaking, desire to hide the speech impediment, and avoidance behaviors. So all these, they're like huge roots supporting our stuttering. So how do I address that body of the stuttering iceberg? And you might be thinking now, wow, it's a cool technique, cool method, I want to do it. Yeah, come on, let's do it. And most people think like that until they realize that first, as with every skill, playing the piano, playing the piano, first you just play, with two fingers, like two music notes. You're not playing the piano yet, right? It's a process it takes some time to learn. You would say something like this. So obviously we start at a slower pace than our usual chopping speaking. That's what we kind of think about as normal, as our like regular speaking, or that we want to expect from us, or we think people expect from us. And here we start to address the body of the stuttering iceberg. Because again, speech impediments just leaves. They're just leaves and the branches. It's no point in cutting the leaves when the trunk and the roots of this thing still stay in place. We want to address all of it, all together. When you say something this way in front of other people, starting in the video call, right? You realize, like, my real life and this way of speaking, how can I connect these two? Probably there is no way I can say something this way anywhere in my real life. So, and we have this uneasy moment where we realize, yeah, that's a cool thing, inner structure, what you've said before, the bridge, yeah, I like all this stuff, but I'm not ready to use it just anywhere besides the classroom. And even in the classroom, I feel uneasy using it. And some people say, you know, it's not natural. I want to get free from stuttering. I want to stop stuttering, being natural, being spontaneous. I want to use my normal speaking. I can speak fluently with myself or in certain settings. Why do I need to go through this uncomfortable, uneasy procedure or something? I don't know. Why can't I just be natural with my natural speaking I have? And I totally get this, because we all go through this same process of thinking, through this I want to stay where I am. But the point is, once we start thinking that I want to stay where I am, it means that I pretty much don't want to do anything new. I want to do everything that I do right now. I want to use the same speaking that I'm using right now. And here are just two ideas. First of all, remember Albert Einstein. It's a sign of insanity when we do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. It doesn't happen this way. If you have the result, that means you've done something differently. So please, 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 once your mind starts telling you, oh no, I want to be natural, this is not natural, please take a look at yourself and just recognize that there is something behind that, and that something is, I want to do what I've been doing till now, the same thing, and I want to get different result with this. So once you realize this, you will see that there is no other way other than just break the wall of this box you're sitting in, because you're going back to the same box, and that it's not natural is another limiting belief that doesn't let you get out of there. So that was the first idea. The second idea is, when we start to play in this, I want to be normal, I want to use my natural, spontaneous speaking, I want to speak like this, I want to speak like I do when I'm fluent, when I'm alone, with somebody else, with my friends. So we get to that fluency game. We start playing this fluency game. when we impose a lot of pressure on ourselves, like, I want to be fluent, I'll be fluent, I want to be confident, I'll try. And we start measuring, again, our success in terms of fluency or disfluency. And again, we put ourselves in the center of that stuttering iceberg, which represents the stuttering fear, desire to hide it, to pretend being normal, and to avoid anything that we see we can't handle. So we get just in the center of the stuttering iceberg. It's so difficult. It's so difficult there. So the way to break that pattern, to get out of that stuttering iceberg completely, is to start measuring our speaking from just a different perspective, just to have a different dimension to measure success. It's not about fluency or disfluency, like, I want to be fluent, it's not about hiding your stuttering. It's not about hiding your improvement efforts. It's about how you interact with the speaking environment, speaking setting. It's not about fluency. It's about how you feel. Do you respond? Do you feel that stuttering fear and desire to hide it and avoid it? Or you feel confident to be yourself? To be yourself as a person who tries to improve. As a person who stutters, but is doing something to improve, to build that inner structure, who is open about it. Once you do that, you just instantly get out of that stuttering iceberg. You're not there. And basically you break it totally. You replace that fluency dimension to totally new one. That's what the hand stuttering technique does. Once you use it, you realize that it's not about fluency. It's about, again, how you interact with the speaking environment. Whether you lead in that speaking environment with your way of speaking, with your style of speaking, or you just respond pretending to be normal with that huge desire to hide it, hide yourself with your stuttering. So we want to replace it again with being open and leading, setting the terms for that speaking contact, speaking environment, speaking setting. We start to create that speaking setting, speaking environment. We start to lead, and that turns it upside down. Your stuttering is just, we're just get out of it. It's nowhere, it's broken. The core of it starts to break. The roots starts to, they're not working. The roots that support your speech impediments, they are completely out of the game. By using the hand technique, we affect not only the speech impediments, but maybe even more important thing is that we affect the very core of this stuttering iceberg. So we affect both the physical thing and the psychological piece. How we feel, how I feel as a person about the speaking contact, speaking environment, and speaking setting. Again, it's not about fluency. Fluency can come and go. Right now, I've done it, I was fluent. The next day, boom, I got speech impediments and I got thrown back, back to the very beginning. And you feel like there is nothing to be done. You feel helpless again. So we want to replace that fluency game with another one where you create, where you lead, where you truly feel free of the whole stuttering iceberg, not only the speech impediment, but the fear of stuttering, the desire to hide it, and avoidance behaviors. You get free from the whole thing. So again, once your mind starts telling you, it's not natural, I want to get to my natural speaking, and it will happen. It happens to everyone who goes through this process. It was telling, my mind was telling me the same thing, and I didn't use that hand technique in my real life as I kind of had to. So it goes with every single person, but that is basically getting free from stuttering, like talking to that negative, talking to those negative thoughts and really trying to address those. You see, the very concept of what is natural is something vague. You see, it's natural to lay in bed and do nothing, right? But we wake up each day because we have some inner, desire to strive, to achieve, to do, to create, to bring food to the table, right? To create life, to have sex, to create families, to create something. So all this, to feel something new. So all this combined is life, fulfilling life that brings some sense of satisfaction, sense of being a game, like something unexpected, something where we're going to. So that is life, right? So what is natural? Lying in bed, like feeling that I don't want to do anything new, or feeling that sense of a challenge where you go to somewhere you've never been before, to see again and to feel something new about yourself. So when your mind starts telling you that this is natural or this is natural, both things are natural. It's just a matter of your choice. And lying on the bed, doing the same thing as you did before, as I say, our speaking lacks this inner structure. We need to do it. So getting up and doing the work and feeling just a bit of a challenge is also absolutely natural for us. Both things are natural. It's a matter of choice. So we need some motivation. We need someone to gently, push, gently give us a nudge so that we move towards that direction. So that's what this video is all about. So you can find the link to the Improve program where I'm showing exactly the exercises, how we can build that new structure of our speaking, how we can use our hand to create, to restore our natural speaking. You can find the link down below this video, the Improve program. It's totally free. And yeah, I'll see you there. If you liked the video, give you a thumbs up. For more videos, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Join Free From Stutter Facebook group where we share the insights, discussions, lots of cool stuff there as well. So yeah, see you in the next video.